Yeah, so what we are going to do is, as I was saying, you click on log. So after opening the workspace, so let me go back again. So you click on the workspace for the log. Then over here, you click on logs, and it will show you the platform for you to be able to enter queries. So let me minimize this so that we are going to have more space to enter our queries. So let me just close this. I don't need it. So what I will do is, let me expand this so that I can see the fields. So under Azure resources, a couple of things are useful for me when it comes to log. So let me open this container log version 2 and let me run this. So let's see if we have any container log within this cluster. And you can see we have a couple here, about 4, which is great. And you can also navigate into them and you will see the computer, the tenant ID, you see the container name, you can see it's Nginx. So what I have is in this cluster that I have in my system is the one that we deployed Nginx as well as added the Nginx service. So that's why we can see the Nginx as the pod name and the container name over here. And if you should go, I want to go back. If you should go into another one, you can see it's also Nginx. I think we use 3 pods. So the data is replicated about 3 times. So we have Nginx. So this is just one of the basic commands that you can use to see the container, the logs of the containers in this cluster. So another thing I will be doing is I have a couple of commands lined up. So I will just be entering them. So the next one I will be entering is I want to see the container log that have been that exists in the last 24 hours. So you can see over here the time range is 1 day and container log and where time generated is greater than timestamp. So wherever the timestamp does not exceed 24 hours, I want it to be displayed. So I'll be running this and you can see that's no result. And that's because previously container log was what was the name of the field, but now it's now called version 2. So I'll use the updated one. Let's see if we'll get any results. Yeah, and we can see we had like the same result as previously because all the container log I have here were created in the last 24 hours. So the next one I would be doing is I want to see the container IDs. The container IDs that I have in this account. So I'll try to be a little bit faster so that this video will not be too long. And you can see that over here I have cluster name and I'm imputing the name of the cluster, which is Sabinos Ayo, as the name of the cluster. And we have what we have here. So I'll just run this. I want to see the container IDs that exist within this cluster. And you can see that we have a couple of them here, so many. And if you should navigate further and you expand this, you are going to see the container ID as a value over here. So another thing I will be doing is if we should go over to now we want to combine container IDs and want to see the ones that were created in the last 24 hours and where the container IDs and containers ID, and so just basically the ones that are available in the last 24 hours. And we are also looking at our pods. So we are considering the ones that are saved as into our pod, the kube pod inventory. So and you can see them over here. So you can see the tenant ID, computer, blah blah blah. So some of all these are also part of what we did initially. So you can see this container ID here. Another command I want to run is the one that tries to summarize the container IDs based on the computer. So I'll come over here. I would slot this in. So it's based in this, the difference between this and the previous one is that this is also looking at the kube pod inventory, is also looking at the cluster name as Sabinos Ayo, and it's also using a timestamp of about 24 hours. So we are counting the computers. So what I will do is I will run this and we'll see what we have. Yeah, you can see we have 2 here. And the count for this virtual machine, for this computer, we counted 3. And this VM, we have just 1. So, earlier on, I spoke about nodes and how we have master pod and we have sub pods that connects, that are kind of like controlled by the master pod, by the master node rather. So we have this. So I believe with this short video, you at least have an understanding on how you can perform some kind of log analytics, some kind of investigation around your Kubernetes cluster, how you can know which container is working, which properties are attached to some of these specific containers. So have a nice day, everyone.